Hello, this is my generic intro for 4 videos this week, so if you've seen it once, go ahead and skip to the first deck tech. I got early access to Modern Horizons 3 cards through the MTGO Content Creator Program. Shout out to Torben and everyone at Daybreak Games for making this happen. So I have recorded an absolute ton of matches with Modern Horizons 3 stuff. What I chose to do was do a deck tech and then do 1 or maybe 2 rounds with a deck and then switch decks. So this week is going to be like deck tech, game, deck tech, game, deck tech, game, going back and forth. I have tried to organize these in a way where I am releasing these as a batch of 4 videos in a way that makes sense. I have occasionally posted these out of the order in which they were originally recorded, so if I refer to something weird that you haven't seen yet, no, I didn't. I hope you all enjoy. My brain was absolute mush as I sat down and recorded Modern Horizons 3 matches for 6 hours straight. Especially in one of the final rounds, I made some errors that were pretty big, but I hope you'll forgive me. And folks, I hope you enjoy. There's some crazy content coming this week. You are not going to want to miss any of it. And just so I don't have to disrupt the flow of this video, which is going to be absolutely hype, let me just say from the beginning, today's video is sponsored by 2 organizations. The first is TOAmagic.com. Tales of Adventure is an awesome store, and Modern Horizons 3 is going to massively shake up the legacy metagame. You are going to need cards. If you want to get it from one retailer instead of having 10,000 envelopes filtering into your house or your apartment over the next 2 weeks, consider checking them out. You will get free shipping on your order. And today's video is also sponsored by Moxfield.com. You know, that wonderful little thing that I'm using for all of my deck techs? All of my Modern Horizons 3 lists are available on my Moxfield account. And if you want to check out any of my deck lists, that is the place to go. And if you need to host any deck lists of your own, check them out. So there is another sort of interesting thing that you can do with Planar Nexus, as Planar Nexus is simultaneously an Urza's Mine, Powerplant, and Tower, or at least with all the land types. So if you have a Planar Nexus and another one of these Urza lands, your Urzatron is immediately available. And that means that Cloud Post isn't necessarily the only way to make big mana in Legacy anymore. So you can, in theory, play Tron in Legacy now. You know, we're still a Wasteland format, so, you know, your Planar Nexus can still be destroyed and you can be knocked off of Tron that way. But while previously Tron was just a little bit too clunky, a little bit too slow for Legacy, that might not necessarily be true anymore. You can do turn 1 Planar Nexus, turn 2 Urza's Tower, and immediately go into Karn the Great Creator. And that's pretty powerful. So we are going to have some elements of an Eldrazi aggro deck here, and then some elements of a larger Eldrazi deck with some of the All is Dust, Olamog, the One Ring things that you might be expecting to see. And because we have access to Eye of Ugin, we'll be able to fish that Olamog out of our deck more often than you might think. If we have access to Ancient Tomb and Eldrazi Temple and Eye of Ugin and Planar Nexus plus any one of these other things as ways to just go and power out a Thought-Knot Seer on turn 2, that becomes a very consistent 4 mana play. Again, I'm slightly suspicious of Kozilek's command, but it is one of those cards that we definitely want to just kind of shut up and test it to see how it's going to do in action. All right, we're trying to Tron it up. We don't have Tron lands. Regardless, we're going to keep this hand. It is a very good Urza Saga hand. All right, I don't know which deck Brian is playing this time, although after a fetch, it's pretty clear. So let's attempt to Urza Saga our way to victory. We've just got, you know, Saga into Ancient Tomb with the One Ring to kind of form the back half of the game. I'm going to assume that this deck has Who's What's It in it, Shadow Spear, which is pretty important. 19, Chalice of the Void. I am not taking time to play that. That's not what this game is about. This game is about out-lifelinking my opponent. It is not going to be the easiest thing to do, if I'm being perfectly honest. That was a shuffle and no immediate draw. So Delver can't attack in. I'll take the Exsanguinator Cavalry hit. Opponent scales up. And we'll do some things and stuff. So there's 2/2. That's an all is dust. There's 3/3. This search will be 4/4. Oh fuck, I don't actually have a Shadow Spear. I guess I'm getting Vexing Bauble then. That shuts off counterspells. It's a little weird. I now can't Chalice on 0 immediately. Oh well. So I'll Lava Spur Boots. Equip here. I am either being attacked for 4 or 6. My opponent is effectively at 24 life from this next attack. Am I the beatdown? I think I'm the beatdown, because I think I just attack with another token next turn. Although if I want to be the beatdown, maybe I don't get Vexing Bauble. Maybe I just get some other artifact so that I can put Chalice of the Void in play and attack for 2 more points of damage. Sure. Are attacks happening? Just one attack. Sure. So Brian's at 15. Now I'm going to attempt to put lethal into play. So this is an Eldrazi spell, so I can do this for X equals 3 if I play Eldrazi Temple. That seems good. So if I Urza Saga and equip, I have enough that Delver has to be blocked, and I will be at 8 life. Huh. Yeah, I think I'm just going to remove Delver. So let's cast this. Let's exile a creature and make friends. Wait. Oh, this is target player makes them. So target player, me. Choose target creature, that. Oh, actually, I guess I can just remove this. That's probably better. Let's do that. Choose target player. Choose target creature. All right, X is 3. Done. So exile that creature. Make friends. Fantastic. I'm going to use 2 of my friends to cast Chalice of the Void on 1. Now I'm going to swing in for 11. Brian goes to 4. The Dark Ritual stuff is not live anymore, so I don't know what he needs to do. It probably involves a dress down. I just have another token coming, though. No, I guess the dress down could still get all of them. So, I'm not going to make another token. I will do something else. Because dress down already takes care of the tokens. I'll pick up an expedition map. I'm going to play Planar Nexus and probably just Kozilek's Command. So we'll exile a creature and continue to make friends. Target player, target creature. Yeah. 2 for Eldrazi colorless spells. Yeah. I'm going to pump the extra mana into this because I get it right back out. Or no, that doesn't really make sense. It's just the same. I don't need to attack with that one. Show me dress down. It's Orcish Bowmasters. Pings my face. Okay, yeah, I guess double block keeps Brian alive. Sure. I think I'll just pass the turn there. Tapped Watery Grave, sure. So I will go ahead and attack, attempt to present lethal, and we'll go from there afterwards if it doesn't work. Bam and bam. It's a new Bowmaster, sure. Pings me to 3. The chumps happen. Yeah. We've got Karn. Yeah. Urzatron assembled. We'll Karn minus here. I imagine there's something cool in the sideboard. The fuck is Ivory Tower? I don't think I need that. I'll take Walking Ballista. Yeah. Okay, I imagine this is a deck that does not really sideboard for the most part. Pithing Needle and Vexing Bauble, I guess, could come in. Obviously some tension with Chalice of the Void, but these are generically good cards. I don't think we need Soul Guide Lantern here. Do I have like one Eye of Ugin or something? Yes, I do have one Eye of Ugin. Expedition Map helps me find that. Maybe I don't need multiple Vexing Baubles. I do just have the one in the main deck. This is fine. Yeah, this is perfectly fine. Doesn't look like I get to Chalice on 1 immediately. Don't know how much that actually matters. We've got island cycling. Sure. Second land drop, Dark Ritual, and it's a Sholdred. Ooh, yeah, no, that's quite powerful. So I'm going to take a lot of damage very quickly from that, and Karn's Ensnaring Bridge stuff does not necessarily stop it. So this just immediately makes 2 mana. I'm going to throw out the Chalice, but this Shouldered is absolutely going to beat my ass. And this time I don't have like the Vexing Bauble to just 100% make sure that my removal spells resolve. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's this for X equals 3. So I can do a removal spell on Shouldered next turn. I can fog 4 damage from Shouldered by playing the 1 ring, or I can make the removal spell more likely to resolve, which I think is what I am going to go for here. Let's just try to do a Force of Will check. Alright, well, we got a Force of Will out of hand. Oh, there are Murktide Regents. End of turn Surveil Land? Yep. I don't believe I went so long without seeing Murktide Regent in those other games. Ooh, no. Oh, this is so much damage. I'm going to be at 3 when all this is said and done. Oh, no. That'll do. Yeah, so Planar Nexus gets wiped. Urza's Mine is a regular land now. Now Kozilek's Command is not efficient enough. Oh, God, and there's another Bowmaster. Sure. That was a beating. Go to 1, and nothing gets me out of that from there. Well, the Tron can be live so quickly, but it did not matter this time. My removal is incredibly slow here, and the 1 ring is not the best versus a Bowmaster deck. I don't know how much I like this build. Well, I'm in. It's weird, but I think I'm in. So let's shut off counterspells, and then follow it up with shutting off cantrips. And then hopefully I don't get just like wastelanded out of the game immediately. Yeah, Tower into Planar Nexus is just 4 mana on turn 2. That's pretty good. And this stuff is just going to be uncounterable. So I'm going to, before I Chalice, I'm going to Lava Spur Boots, and then Chalice on 1. So I have done a good job of constraining my opponent's resources, but some things like this can happen. Urza's Saga. Sure. Do I need another Chalice of the Void in play? Let's say yes, because it increases my artifact count for Urza's Saga. And I don't think I'm going to end up with enough mana easily to just like put this on 3 to stop a lot of my opponent's critical cards. Alright, top deck land, please. Technically that is what I asked for. However, this does not tap 4 mana, so I can't use it to activate Urza's Saga. But I can Kozilek's Command still, or X's 2. So I could do that to like draw a card and make some mana so that All Is Dust becomes live. And then I can also get an Urza's Saga activation. That's a Murktide Regent. I will All Is Dust that. So let's make things, and then I'll draw a card. Hello? Oh, I see. Since I am targeting a player twice, I need to click on myself twice. All right, X is currently 2. We'll put Matter Reshaper on the bottom. I am fine drawing an Urza's Tower. Okay, so if I go 1, 2 to activate this, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana towards casting All Is Dust. Do I have like a Mox Opal that I can get here? What are we playing? We're playing this one. No, I don't. Let's just assume that I win this game if I prolong this game. Pithing Needle on Wasteland sounds great. Wasteland, Tower, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 for this. Take out the Murktide Regent. I am fine using 1 colorless mana to cast Matter Reshaper and passing the turn. So counterspells are off, cantrips are off. I will be threatening Eye of Ugin in the not too distant future. Some of the stuff like Sholdred and Exsanguinator Cavalry are still good. Hopefully I will just overpower those though. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can go ahead and search up with Eye of Ugin in this turn cycle. I'll just go ahead and pass the turn. Opponent gains some life. Sure. Sanguinator Cavalry. You got it. All right, no attack in. End of turn. Activate. 3, 4, 5, 6. It does cost me the Eldrazi spawn. 7. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 8 currently. So I'm not quite to Ulamog. We'll just take a Thought-Knot Seer. There's a Karn. That's okay. I guess I'm playing both of these. So yeah. Minus. Yes. I'll just pick up like a Walking Ballista for next turn. I can funnel a lot of mana into Walking Ballista at this point. March of Wretched Sorrow or Lorien Revealed. We will take Lorien Revealed. And we're chilling. March of Wretched Sorrow also hit Planeswalkers. It does. I don't super care about the Karn. Sure. We've got movement. March of Wretched Sorrow can like take out the Thought-Knot Seer. My opponent draws a card. They can gain some life off of that and then pressure my Karn, which again I don't super care about. Karn is getting attacked by both. I am fine with Karn dying, I think. I think I'm just going to trade with Exsanguinator Cavalry. Oh, right. Menace. Yeah, Karn can just go then. That's fine. That's an Eldrazi Temple. Sure. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'll just tutor with Eye of Ugin and do the Eldrazi thing. This is not blocking anyway, right? Yeah, this is not blocking anyway. Attack for 3. 27. I don't know, I can leave it back to block the Sholdred. Go to 8. Cavalry scales up. Blood tokens happen. Little extra life. A Wasteland, which again, Pithing Needle is active. Activate Eye. Search for Ulamog. Now we do things. So I'm at 6, but I cast this big spell. Does not even cost me Ancient Tomb. We are going to exile my opponent's 2 creatures. Force of Will. Sure. I'll hit in for 3. I still have a giant Walking Ballista that I can do. Necro Dominance from 30. Pretty legit. Stop it with these Exsanguinator Cavalries. See how much life Brian goes down. 10 cards. Sure. I might have forgotten about these Lava Spur Boots. I might have had an opportunity to move those around and do something with it. Arn. Okay. So I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8, 9 mana. Canoptic Scarab Swarm gives me a bunch of bodies. I think I'm just going to do a Walking Ballista for 4. Except the 2 damage, just generate a blocker so that this can't get in there. I can remove counters if necessary. Oh wait, hold on. Turn off auto yields. Lava Spur Boots. Let's go ahead and equip that to the Walking Ballista just in case. Just a little extra protection here. Now, Brian does not get a draw step right now, but he just drew a whole bunch of cards, so that's probably fine. An Orcish Bowmaster. You got it. Pinging my Matter Reshaper. Sure. And a Plague Engineer. You got it. Sure. I will put it onto the battlefield. But now I may need to remove Exsanguinator Cavalry when it attacks. And then I can just pump more mana into it. Ping. Times 3. And then it's dead. It's a new Orcish Bowmasters, but Brian, did you forget about the ward on my creature? No, it's just going to my face. That's fine. Thought you were going to try to get rid of this. How much do you make? You just make 2. Alright, Necro Dominance trigger. 8 cards. Okay. So, 3, 4, 5. This is going to be an Ensnaring Bridge situation, I think. So I will Karn. Minus. Yes. Grab. Bridge. I guess now I use this Eldrazi mana to Thought-Knot Seer. Just make sure there's nothing over there that can bounce the bridge. Yeah, I will take Brazen Borrower. Get that out. Then I will drop an ensnaring bridge, call it a turn. So the Shouldered's Edict can get rid of the Karn, but then I am hiding behind bridge, and I'll use Walking Ballista to slowly kind of clear the board from there. Oh, you would like me to sacrifice a non-token creature? Sure. I believe that's my Thought-Knot Seer, not my Walking Ballista. You can have the extra card. Alright, Necro Dominance happens. Paying 4 life. Brian will have to discard a few. There's an Urza's Tower. Without mathing, this seems fine. So we'll just search up a colorless creature, grab a Thought-Knot Seer, use the Eldrazi Temple mana to cast the Thought-Knot Seer. It is counterable with a hard cast Force of Will, or a Dress Down could happen in response just as well. Okay, that is what's happening. Let's plan out my mana. So I could put a counter on Walking Ballista, or I could Karn. Yeah, I think I'll just Karn. Alright, so that shuts off this ability for the moment. This is 2, 3, 4, technically 5, 6, but I don't want to touch that Ancient Tomb. Let's Karn. Yes. Oh, I need to play out whatever I get. I was planning on Canoptic Scarab Swarm, but the Dress Down doesn't do the best job of that. Just grab a Trinisphere then. Just continue to make life harder for Brian. We are actually doing some prison-y things here. Oh, shit. That's rough. That's a lot of triggers. Or no, sorry, that's Energy Field, not Energy Flux. Okay. Brian has 9 cards left. Oh, I see. So it's Necro Dominance, Energy Field is the plan. Sure. Pinging the Karn. Got it. So how do I win? I don't quite have that figured out yet. I'll take the Filigree Silex. And we'll add a +1/+1 counter here. And we're chilling. Brian has 9 cards remaining in deck and does not have a traditional draw step. I guess I win via an All Is Dust. That's how I get out of this. Okay. Figured it out. Going to 1, sure. So this prevents all damage that would be dealt to you, not all loss of life. So I can't just Walking Ballista ping Brian and kill him. An Expedition map, that will be countered by Chalice of the Void. I will just do it so that I remain hellbent for, right, Trinisphere. So that I remain hellbent. And my lands are now jumping around all over the place. I'm going to put counters on Walking Ballista. And that's my turn. That is Petty Theft on the Ensnaring Bridge. Followed by putting the Brazen Borrower into play. So attacks are valid. Walking Ballista probably does a very large amount in helping me survive this turn. So for sure, ping that, that goes away. Then I can go ahead and just like block, 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 ping once. Get rid of a Bowmaster. I think I am okay taking 1 point of damage. Brian is down to just a few cards in library. I guess I can also kill my own Thought-Knot Seers to force Brian to draw cards. Sanguinator Cavalry is fine. So Brian gets no more cards for the rest of the game. That's just it. So we will Urza Saga. Ensnaring Bridge just gets countered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So instead I can just funnel all of this mana into Walking Ballista and kill both creatures. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah. We're just going to start countering up. Okay, so we've got 5 counters. 1, 2. Let's go. Just go ahead and call it a turn there. That very easily handles these creatures. It is a new Orcish Bowmasters. That puts me to 1. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Oh, fuck. I think I'm dead. Okay, so I block. No. I block an Orc token. And then I send all of the damage elsewhere. So 3 at Cavalry, 2 at Bowmasters. 1 down. 2 down. 3 down. So I take no damage. And now I have an Urza Saga token to block this, and an Ensnaring Bridge. And this card. So this is going to get countered. All right, so that's gone. Now I'll do this. So let's make a bunch of things. I would like to make a bunch of things. I would like to get rid of this creature. All right, yeah. All right, I've made my thing. I have my Urza Saga tokens. I've got mana. Now I just need to find a way to kill Brian before I time out. I need to find an all is dust, basically. There's a power plant. I'll make a critter. No artifacts to find. Understood. Activate I. We're just going to start pulling artifacts out of my deck. Fast turn. I can, like, technically equip some Lava Spur Boots or whatever as well, but I don't think it matters. So there's a Karn. That's going to get Force of Willed. Yep. I'll pull another Matter Reshaper out of my deck and cast it. Brian is having fun. And, yeah, no, that's just his turn forever. Remove this upkeep stop. I don't need that anymore. Brian is not doing shit with his turn. I mean, neither am I, apparently, but I will get there. Hopefully. Sure. Yep. Exciting magic. Hey, it's my turn again. I guess I should not, like, be using time to cast this, but it's whatever. Yeah, I don't have the Ensnaring Bridge. Oh, nope, I don't want to yield through my entire turn. I guess I just did, though. Oh well. I'll cast it on my next turn. I guess the One Ring is adding extra priority stops. That's not the best. Arn minus. Yes. Get. Oh no, this one doesn't have the Argentum thingy. Fuck. Alright. I thought I had Argentum thingy. Alright, I time out. I win this one if I cast all this dust. GG's. Next up, we have another Nic Fit deck, because I know you sickos absolutely love Veteran Explorer and sacrificing it for fun and profit. And one of the cards that has people really, really excited about Nic Fit is Flare of Cultivation. Essentially, this is a Cultivate or Kodama's Reach effect. You can search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, reveal them, put them onto the battlefield tapped, and the other one into your hand, and then shuffle. Cool. The cool part here is that you can sacrifice a green non-token creature rather than pay the spell's mana cost. So you can take yourself primarily out of black with this deck, and most of your sacrifice stuff can be in green if you so desire. So more importantly, on turn 1, you can Veteran Explorer, sack it to Flare of Cultivation immediately before there is a priority pass, so your opponent doesn't get a chance to use their pesky Swords to Plowshares on this creature, and then you can immediately put a basic land into play from Flare of Cultivation, and 2 untapped into play from Veteran Explorer, and that can make your next couple of turns very big. The Nic Fit Discord told me that I shouldn't play Flare of Cultivation, but if I was going to anyway, that I should consider messing around with Scapeshift, which lets me sacrifice any number of lands to search for that many land cards and put them onto the battlefield tapped. If you followed older modern formats, Valakut was a key part of the Scapeshift plan. Whenever a mountain enters the battlefield under your control, if you control at least 5 other mountains, you may have Valakut, the Molten Pinnacle, deal 3 damage to target creature or player. So normally how this works is that you have 6 lands, and you cast Scapeshift, you sacrifice everything, you go and you get your Valakut, and then 5 mountains, and oh hey, they all enter at the same time. They see each other. Or sorry, it needs to be 6. It's 5 other mountains. So, sorry. So you need 7 lands, Valakut plus 6 mountains. But then once that happens, you send a bunch of damage directly at your opponent's face, or if you need to control the board so you don't die, or you don't quite have enough damage for some reason because your opponent has gained a bunch of life, you can just kind of ping the board down. Now, this number gets smaller if you control a Dryad of the Elysian Grove, which turns your Valakuts into mountains, and then you can do something like, oh, I am going to get, Valakut, and then the rest of my lands, those will just be mountains. We are going to have Burning Wish in the sideboard. That can find us our Flare of Cultivation so that we can sacrifice our Veteran Explorer and get things going. It can also find us a handful of more narrow effects or one of our Scapeshifts as a win condition. We'll be rounding out the deck with a handful of powerful bombs and a few utility creatures along the way that give us some other things to do with our abundant amounts of mana. All right. I mean, this is going to be the dream, right? Just turn 1 Veteran Explorer, do the Flare of Cultivation thing immediately. This is what you sickos came here for, and I will deliver. Forest. Veteran Explorer. Brian. My Flare of Cultivation, Brian. I'm upset. Very sad. This hand was so good. I don't know what we're Burning Wishing for, but I'm casting Burning Wish in order to use my mana. Yes. Pick Your Poison is relevant. Can't cast Toxic Deluge yet. I'm gonna grab a Pick Your Poison. Yeah, Brian effectively denied me 4 mana by getting rid of my Veteran Explorer with a counterspell. Stoneforge Mystic. Aha. We're ready for that. Okay, cool. There is a land. It's not a black land, so I can't just like grist immediately or anything, but I can just start ramping. So we will go Swamp Forest. Swamp can go into play. Done. Forest to hand. Cool. So I am going to have the ability to cast Pick Your Poison, potentially get rid of a Cauldra, and then play something like a Questing Beast afterwards, and whack my opponent in the face with it. And that sounds delightful. Sure. Another Stoneforge Mystic. Got it. Finding a Shuko. Sure. 19. I can Burning Wish for Toxic Deluge and attempt to kill both Stoneforge Mystics. That sounds pretty hot. Yes. Toxic Deluge. Do this for X's 2. Stoneforges are out of play. We know 2 of the 6 cards in hand. We know the equipment. 4th land drop. Lion Sash. That's not really the artifact I was planning on getting rid of, but it does look like I am casting this spell. Pack an artifact, please. I'm going to lose some graveyard stuff in response. That's fine. We're going to go on a quest here with our little beast friend. Hit for 4. Fantastic. There's a Shuko. There's a land. Is there a bird? All right, there is a bird. So the value train begins. Sure. There's a source of plowshares. Don't love that. Mystic Sanctuary. Returning Force of Will. Don't love that. That takes my Scapeshift off the table, as that is just going to immediately end up in hand. So there's what? I know Cauldra, Swords, Force of... There's one unknown card. So, yeah. Attempt Grist. Grist is in play. Sacrifice Veteran Explorer. Target Nadu. This thingy happens. There's Field of the Dead. Which I guess is sort of awkward, now isn't it? I'm going to take a forest. How many mountains are in my deck? Mountain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I only need 6 for Valakut. I can take the extra land. Destroy Nadu. Go to combat. Send in for 4. Ryan goes to 8. I guess I can actually keep some mountains, right? So then I cast Scapeshift. It is happening. I'm going to keep 1 Taiga in play just in case I counted wrong. So there's a Valakut, and then we'll get a bunch of mountains. Triggers! We did the thing. I don't know if I am sideboarding. Thoughtseize is okay, but maybe not ideal. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna hit the submit button, leave the extra Pick Your Poisons in the sideboard, and just run the game 1 deck back. I don't know if there are really cards that I want to cut. Like, the deck seems okay positioned. Titan's a little slow. I could cut Titan for a Pick Your Poison. Alright. I've talked myself into that much, and I don't even remember what this card does. It has a lot of words on it. Play another Pick Your Poison over that. Alright. I've changed my sideboarding plan a little bit. My hand seems a little medium. I don't have a way to sacrifice the Veteran Explorer. I don't have a way to ramp into Questing Beast. Okay. I'm gonna keep this pitch, this Scapeshift. I'm gonna cast the Once Upon a Time on my own turn after I have a draw step, I think. Just Tamiyo hitting play immediately. That's fine. I really would like black mana. Negative, okay. Well, this is a kind of black mana if you look at it sideways. I think I'm going to take the Surveil land here and look for black mana. Absolutely. So that lets me Cabal Therapy next turn for a Force of Will, and then do the Veteran Explorer thing. Tamiyo gets to investigate, does not actually do combat damage. The Tamiyo is going to flip. We're going to see the Planeswalker side of this for the first time. This is not going to be a super potent Planeswalker against my deck. I'm not really messing around with the attack step all that much. And if I do, it will be for large numbers. But the -7 is a thing that is very likely to happen as this game goes on. So let's Cabal Therapy. Let's do the Force of Will check. There is Force of Will. Fantastic. Now I will Veteran Explorer. Cabal Therapy. Target you. Sacrifice Veteran Explorer. Yes. I think I am interested in mountains specifically because I do have the Valakut in hand already. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the Nadu. I just don't want to mess around with that card as this game goes on. The Stoneforge Mystic is still quite good, but that feels more beatable. And we'll call it a turn there. No green mana for Noble Hierarch as of right now. I guess I can take the Stoneforge Mystic and hope to leave this stranded in hand for a little while. Sure. I would not have succeeded in leaving it stranded in hand for very long at all, though. A Questing Beast. So that pressures the Tamiyo, which is great. I guess that means that I am playing it this turn. Play untapped green. Yeah. Note that I can just attack Brian directly, and the Planeswalker will also end up taking that damage. It is reduced damage, but it is damage. The Tamiyo could minus to just pick up Swords to Plowshares and clear the board of Questing Beast, but I imagine it will just plus, and Brian will just kind of counter back with a Kaldra. A Mawlock. What do you do damage to again? It's a fight, so I can use that to fight Stoneforge Mystic, which I guess I am doing. So, bam! Hit Stoneforge. We're going to see the Stoneforge activation for Kaldra. Now, Kaldra's there chilling. I get rid of this. Questing Beast can be blocked by this as it has 5 power. Will hopefully just deal enough traditional combat damage, or like enough damage with Valakut, that this is not that big of a deal. The Tamiyo can get Swords to Plowshares as a good defensive tool. What was that? That was the Brainstorm, actually. Not the Swords to Plowshares. Wasteland for my Valakut's very good. Very good. Makes many of my outs much more difficult. Brian is just going to hold back defensively. I can get rid of the Nadu. That's the good news. So, Veteran Explorer into Grist. Sacrifice Veteran Explorer. I think Nadu is scarier than Tamiyo. We're going to take out the thing that essentially gives my opponent a combo kill. They get a land drop out of it. I will search for some basics. We'll pull those basic forests right out of my deck. Get rid of Nadu. I can kill Tamiyo right now. I don't think I'm into doing that at the cost of one of these creatures. Alright, that's another Surveil land. So I would like to incentivize my opponent to attack with Kaldra, at which point I get to kind of kill Tamiyo for free with a Questing Beast. Alright, yeah, so Grist is getting attacked. I am fine. That can go through, and then I will work on Tamiyo afterwards. Oh, well, that's real cool. That is a Burning Wish for a Scapeshift, in theory. Let's try to make Brian use some resources in defending this Planeswalker first. So let's attack Tamiyo. and attack Brian directly. My creatures get smaller from this trigger. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This could be Force of Willed. Let's find out if it is. It is Force of Willed. I am unsure who is favored at this stage. Like, Brian has things better off in combat because of the Cauldron, but the Cauldron is not in a very good position to actually attack right now. Cryptic Coat is a great mana sink. This can kind of be bounced. It is a way to, have some blockers. Yep. I will take 6 from the Exalted. That is a Green Sun or a Primeval Titan that gets 2 Valakuts. Or is there anything better? Titania is also not bad. I don't have a land in graveyard though. Okay, so it's going to be Primeval Titan. So send them. So the Moloch doesn't trample or anything, so it's just gonna get swords. Sure. Well, I'm glad that's not hitting my Primeval Titan. Opponent's at 8. Green Sun for 6. Oh my god, I boarded out the Primeval Titan. Oh, that is upsetting. Fuck. I'm so upset. That decision might cost me this match. Cracking the clue. And then I am only getting hit with the unblockable creature. And then we've got Shuko. Sure. I get some selection. Titania doesn't do anything right now. I need a fucking Scapeshift or Burning Wish. End of turn, bounce Cryptic Coat is fine. Got a Shuko. Oh, I see. It becomes a 4-power creature. Sure. Yeah, I'm gonna take that hit. And then this Cryptic Coat is going to come back down. That is another Green Sun, which still doesn't get my fucking Primeval Titan. I've chosen 4 as a random number. My opponent has Force of Willed it. Alright, Lifespad. Brian is thinking about whether or not he's going to bounce Cryptic Coat at end of turn. He is going to do it. So this creature is now hitting in. I think I'm at the point where I have to start blocking, so I am going to go ahead and get rid of my Questing Beast here. Ponder was the face down card. Cryptic Coat comes back. Shuko can get shuffled around somewhere. Oh, there's also just a Stoneforge Mystic. Let's top deck a Scapeshift. Alright, there's the Shuko movement. That is a pick your poison. Please sacrifice an artifact. Yeah. The Shuko can very easily just go here. This is a matchup that can be won by fair combat at this point. Yep. New Shuko. So am I dead this turn, or do I get another draw step? Oh, fuck, it's a Nadu that was face down. That's inconvenient. Alright, so my opponent is now going to activate Nadu a whole bunch of time, and for the sake of brevity, I'm going to just give you the highlights. Alright, first really interesting thing is that we have a Mystic Sanctuary for Force of Will. Once Force of Will is in my opponent's hand, I can't top deck Scapeshift anymore for the kill, so I think at this point I'm going to go ahead and concede, and we can move on to the next game. Primeval Titan is getting the fuck back into my deck, please. Did not expect that to be such a missed card, but here we are. Let's do the swap for Titania. And then my Valakut will end up in my graveyard, and we can all have a good laugh about that. Okay, having the Dryad Arbor in hand is awkward. Not the biggest fan of that. I can't cast the Cabal Therapy. This one just feels clunky despite having good cards in it. I am going to keep this. I'll put some land... no, I'll put the basic back into the deck. I have double Flare of Cultivation. So we are going to hope to hit a Veteran Explorer with this. Ooh, it's a Veteran Explorer. Fantastic. I will cast said Veteran Explorer. Brian, let me fucking have my fun, Brian. People came here to see Flare of Cultivation on turn 1. Let me have it. Why are you such a hater, Brian? Alright, I have a lot of mana. I'm going to be fetching out non-basic lands whenever possible this game to leave the basics in the deck. I believe that I have a Surveil land that I can use with this. There is a Stoneforge Mystic. I am not super well equipped to attack a Cauldron right now. It is a Shuko instead. So both of these are fetchable. Let's get black mana right now. No. Now I am looking for the business spells here. I got not what I am looking for. Alright, we are going to cast the Flare. And we are going to try to go big mana now. So I'm going to leave the mountains in the deck. Grab Forest Swamp. I'll put Forest into play. Swamp into hand. I've made my land drop. I guess I could have considered fetch Dryad Arbor lines for Flare of Cultivation a little bit more strongly. But it seems like the fetch lands were quite valuable as ways to... Ah, man, I am flooding out hard here. As ways to surveil. So we'll do another Flare. Get 2 forests. Put a forest onto the battlefield. Do one of these. I'll go ahead and surveil now just so I can F6 Brian's turn because, you know, gonna be a big turn. I will put that on top. I don't think it is going to be likely to resolve after Brian puts in Shuko and just kind of goes wild. Yep. So there's 4 chances for this as of right now. Swords, not relevant. It's like Force of Will that is the big one. Veil of Summer is fine. So then every creature Brian can play is 2 more looks. That is still not Force of Will. That is still not Force of Will. This can look for Force of Will, though. So that can represent Swords to Plowshares on Nadu. So Brian is effectively at 21 life. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, that is Scapeshift plus a bunch of mountains. So I guess let's float mana here in a way that is meaningful. So I will cast a Scapeshift. If this resolves, I am actually going to have to look at the number of mountains that are in my deck. This could be Swords Nadu to draw a card and gain some life. It is a Brainstorm. Okay, have to math. So there are 10 mountains in the deck. I currently have 4 of them in play, so there are 6 mountains. So that's fine. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay. So I will pick up a Valakut. Oh fuck, there's one in my graveyard. Damn it. Yep. So that is not going to do it. With that, I am going to concede. GG's. Alright, I have one final deck tech for you to kind of wrap this up. This is an alternative build of Nic Fit. I only had time to record with one of the 2. This ended up being well north of a 12-hour workday today. So I'm going to give you this deck tech, and then I'm going to give you some closing thoughts. I think one of the most highly anticipated cards from this set for many players is Wight of the Reliquary, an obvious throwback to Knight of the Reliquary, but in undead form. This is a 2/2 vigilant creature that gets +1/+1 for each creature in your graveyard, and it lets you sacrifice another creature to search your library for a land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle. Nic Fit, that is Veteran Explorer Ramp, is a deck that is near and dear to the hearts of many older Legacy players who just kind of remember this as a very fun deck that often went over the top of other decks. So imagine your curve of turn 1 Veteran Explorer, turn 2 Wight of the Reliquary, turn 3 you sacrifice your Veteran Explorer, you get a land from the Wight's ability, you get 2 lands from Veteran Explorer's ability, and all of a sudden you're good to go. Now, the Wight of the Reliquary land can be any land, so you can use this to go and fetch up something like an Urza's Saga, for example. Or your Phyrexian Tower if you need to keep sacrificing things. Your Bojuka Bog as a utility land. It's not in this list, but you could have things like Karakas as well. And we are going to play this alongside some other very cute things. Remember Bloodghast? Landfall? Come back into play if it's in your graveyard? Sacrifice the Bloodghast, get a land, the Bloodghast comes back immediately. I don't know if it's good, but it sure is fucking cute, and it's really neat. And we are going to play this alongside some cards that continue to grow based on the size of your graveyard, and we are going to have other graveyard-oriented synergies as well. This list is probably a little rough around the edges still, but I think it is good enough to take for a spin and kind of see how it does. The Urza Saga package may need to be increased a little bit. For example, we might need a little bit more top end to take advantage of some of the lands that we're getting here. We don't actually have Green Sun in this list, which is something that is usually around, but let's see how it feels. All right, folks, there you have it. A whopping 4 days of gameplay videos featuring early access Modern Horizons 3 cards. And the biggest thing that I want to say to cap off this specific video is that we have only scratched the tip of the iceberg here with what is possible for Modern Horizons 3 cards. I have not tested all of the cards that I want to test yet, and I already have a bunch of things to say. So tomorrow, Friday, I am going to record a generic, like, my thoughts so far, my predictions based on what I have seen, and kind of analyze some of the stuff from the last 4 videos. And then we'll kind of start launching into normal leagues again next week.